Death Becomes Him is a very thought-provoking episode of Frasier. It might not be the most funny, but it does have some really moving moments in it, and also Martin does bring quite a bit of comedy when needed. This is the 11th episode of the first season, directed by Andy Ackerman, and Frasier takes Martin to the doctor because Martin is reluctant and doesn't go. And there's a great scene in the waiting room. I think Martin's performance there was absolutely brilliant. I mean, I say that John Mahoney always gave a great performance, but in particular, I rather liked it a lot. And it was a nice, kind of funny way to almost start things off. And then we find out that the doctor has died. And that in itself is obviously quite sad, but it's pretty difficult for Frasier because the doctor is his own age. And he spends a lot of the episode, well, part of the episode, drawing up his will and trying to work out who's going to get which of his items, what he'll bequeath to whom. And there's an interesting bit with Niles, but I think they could have done a bit more with that. But again, I feel like the episode was so meaningful and moving that I don't mind that it wasn't as funny as it could have been. He's also trying to find out why this doctor died, because if he's the same age as Frasier, he wants to find out a reason. Did this doctor have high cholesterol? Was he a chain smoker? And he just can't find anything about why this seemingly healthy man of his age would just drop dead all of a sudden. And he ends up going to the funeral, which has some really interesting bits in it and some really moving discussions. And Frasier gives a really emotional speech, not quite about the meaning of life, but about the fact that none of us can tell. I can't remember the anecdote he used, but it was something like, why could this doctor drop dead all of a sudden, yet somebody who chain smokes and eats cheeseburgers their whole life could live till 80? I'm paraphrasing a little bit. And I just thought, that's so true. You can live as healthily as you want. And of course, we all should try and be as healthy as possible. But you can be as healthy as anybody. And it doesn't guarantee you a long life. Now, that's not to say you should stuff your face with cheeseburgers every day, but live a little. Enjoy life while you can. Because, as this episode shows, who knows how long you've got. So, yeah, it doesn't sound like a funny episode, and I'll be honest, it isn't that funny. There are moments, of course, there are moments of comedy, light relief, here and there where appropriate and where suitable, but it's also sentimental and moving and inspiring in ways. With Frasier's speech about, it's genuinely choking me up thinking about it, about the fact that you and I could drop dead tomorrow, and somebody who has the worst health ever, seemingly the worst health ever, could live a very long time. And the best thing you can do with that information is live your life to the fullest. Live a life of balance. Try and be as healthy as you can be, but don't neglect life's simple pleasures just because you think it will prolong your life, because it might not. It definitely might not. And honestly, it's a really brilliant episode. Very touching, very moving. Not one of the, there are episodes where I laugh scene for scene for scene, but there are some like this where there's humor to begin with, and then things take a more serious turn. We have the light relief, but ultimately it's so much more powerful and important than that. And what's more beneficial than being told to live your life? And I think it just makes the episode so beautiful.